So I'm someone who, I do a lot of work in the community.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of announcing for sports. I do world powerlifting around the world.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a chance to announce basketball at the international level. Did the NBA All Stars, did two Pan American Games, as well as Ottawa High School All Star Games,
Yeah.
as well as coaching a lot of local teams like St. Pat's all the way up to the Carleton Ravens. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm known for a lot of different things
Yeah.
involved in the mic and just being involved in the community as well too.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get into like announcing games, and where did that come from?
I think where all that came from was when I was going to school at Vanier College,
Mm-hmm.
and there was an opportunity to be an announcer for basketball, and a lot of my friends played basketball at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So during this period, I thought, this would be a good chance to make some money, as well as being able to see my friends play up close.
Mm-hmm.
And then that went really well. And then I came back to Ottawa, and I went to Algonquin, and Algonquin was looking for an announcer for all their sports.
Yeah.
So at that time, just took up the opportunity because at the same time getting paid to watch sports. I'm a sports fan,
Mm-hmm.
so it was just kind of like a no brainer for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I ended up being able to announce for all of Algonquin's varsity sports back when they were the Thunder, and then I had a chance to announce for the Carleton Ravens
Yeah.
for 7 seasons, six championships, national
Mm-hmm.
championships. And of those, I was able to announce five national championship tournaments. And of those five, I was able
Jeez.
to announce three gold medal games.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool.
The U Sports gold medal games?
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
Wait,
So
so how nerve wracking was it? Like when you first started, were you nervous or?
I'm always nervous.
Yeah?
Because that's the thing. It's like I always believe if you're not nervous doing something, do you really want to be doing it?
Okay,
So
that's
for
true.
me, it's
Yeah.
like maybe nervous isn't the words, but I felt a lot of energy. I feel a lot of energy when I do it,
Mm.
and I feel like the best part is being able to convert that energy into your craft. Like that nervous energy, being able to convert it into the energy I'm giving out of the microphone that
Mm.
pumps out in the speakers and the crowd. So
Yeah.
I find that's pretty fun.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
won't lie. When I would get a bucket and you say basket score, like yo, that you feel sick when Victor's announcing, bro.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. That's a big thing for me. Is just we don't get a lot of that opportunity in Ottawa. Whereas I feel like we're the city that's always slept on for sports, especially basketball.
Mm.
So my big thing is I like to make sure that all the Ottawa local kids get the advantage of having a really good MC at some point during their high school career. So when they make the All Star game for the Ottawa High School All Stars, then you get a chance to have really good MC, really good experience, and just make you feel like you're in there for a minute. So I really enjoy giving back to the community that way.
Yeah, and even I'll say too, I do like I feel like it's slept on like how you would try and big up the Ottawa basketball scene and stuff like that. Like I think it wasn't appreciated enough. Like back in like 2015 and stuff, you'll go and say like whoever was popping at the time, and you just try and gas them up and like say that Ottawa basketball is actually on the same level as Toronto, and like we're actually a powerhouse in Canada, but no one was really vouching for us like that, and you used to back in the day.
I mean, that's a big thing for me is, again, seeing players like, man, you gotta remember this. There's a Christmas headline was Jacques Lacusa versus Jamal Murray.
I was about to say Jacques too, because
And that was a headline,
Yeah.
and Jacques dropped 28 or something like that game. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't a light game. Jamal dropped 30 something and they won, but it was still like a back to back game. Like we had guys from Ottawa doing big things, but because Ottawa at the time wasn't as equipped like a Toronto, like the social media scene and the way Toronto has all these, amazing mixtapes, like the States has mixtapes, like the
Yeah.
mixtape scene, right? So we didn't really have all of that, but whenever Ottawa teams would go to Toronto tournaments, we'd always represent, we'd always hold it down. Like you guys won the Vaughan Classic,
Not my year, but we were competing. Oh, which one did we win?
the CTA.
Yeah,
We-
they did win it, but I don't think I was there that year.
But you guys did go to tournaments
Yeah,
too, though.
yeah.
Whatever year you're in.
Yeah, well,
You
we
guys
won
went
the
to tournament-
nationals that year.
Exactly,
You know what I'm
exactly,
saying?
exactly.
All Ottawa guys on the team.
Exactly. That's my point,
Yeah.
right? So that's the thing too, right? So like CTA, like you guys were on that team, all Ottawa team.
Mhm.
You guys won national championships, and that was I think the second of a back to back.
Yeah, we went back to that. Yeah.
But it's all Ottawa guys, right? And I've always been saying from day one that Ottawa is always slept on. We have tons of crazy talent.
Mhm.
It's just we're not built like Toronto or Montreal that has these crazy mixtape scenes or ways that they promote their athletes really well.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head for that, for sure, because I would definitely agree that even though people don't realize it, a lot of talent is actually here for sports, And yeah, you're saying like we don't really have a platform. So I'm glad that you're using your platform to help people, get out there and stuff like that. So by you announcing or just posting about them, like that's not many people are putting people on basically in our city. So for you to be doing that from the jump is like a really good thing, especially for the community.
Yeah, no, I mean, athletes from Ottawa work their ass off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got guys like Corey Johnson playing basketball in the UK. I think it's like been playing for over 5 years professionally. He went to Harvard University, right? But I don't really feel like he got the spin that he deserved, like Noah Kirkwood, right? This is a guy that made it to the NBA G League, right? Like, getting buckets from Harvard as well too, right? And he's a guy who won gold for Canada.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
In Egypt, I think that was the team that won it, right?
In 2017.
In 2017, but these guys aren't, in my humble opinion, didn't get the proper recognition here in Ottawa. Not pointing any fingers or saying, this individual or that individual group or that group. I'm just saying, like, as a collective, Ottawa didn't do a good enough job to really, like, it's because at the end of the day, it's up to us to elevate our people, right? Like, we can't wait on something to happen. So that's why I always try to do my part to make sure that whenever they make these accomplishments, whenever they do anything big, I'm trying my best to, like, big them up on my little platform.
No, it's appreciated because even I remember back we were real close like in my last years of high school and stuff, and it was just like you would instill confidence in us too. It's not even just like bigging us up, but you're like, yo, telling us you're the man and stuff. And as a kid, you might not even like realize the positive impact it has, because sometimes you might not be confident in yourself, like because you had seen all levels of basketball, announcing at all-star games, all that stuff, and it's like when you're telling us, yeah, you're like that or whatever, it's like, okay, if he's seen these guys and he's saying I'm nice or whatever, now I'm gonna get a little bit more confident, regardless of what I'm saying, how results ended. But it's like just you instilled confidence in us, like all the St. Pat's guys, when you were coaching us and helping out in grade 11 and everything. So yeah, we got to give you your flowers for that.
But at the end of the day, though, I mean, back-to-back city champ, right? Right here.
Back-to-back.
You know what I mean? Point guard, gym rat. So you guys put in the work. You guys were dogs. So that's why at the end of the day, like for me, I didn't mind sacrificing my time and energy and effort to be able to help coach you guys because you guys really deserve it. And for me, it's schools like a St. Pat's that I would love to and rather give my time to because I went to St. Pat's Intermediate. I grew up in the South before I moved to the East. So a lot of everyone that goes there, like I can relate to, right? Like I know what it's like going to school and not having your parents give you like $20 every day to just go spend it, right? Like I know what it's like when it's like, you know what I mean? Like you really want to get new kicks because it's ball season, but you got to wear the same ones you wore last year, even though your toes busting out the other end, So I can relate to that, and I can appreciate the fact that it's a lot of heart on those teams. Like a lot of St. Pat's kids have heart, and the thing about heart, you can't teach it. You can't teach how to get through adversity. But the thing about people like that I can speak to, because I'm from the South, went to St. Pat's Intermediate. Like, I definitely know what it's like to be in that life, in that world, right? So for me, it's like you're going through adversity every single day from the moment you wake up, right? Like trying your best not to get caught up in the mix, trying your best to stay focused, trying your best not to. And everything is a phone call away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good or bad.
When you're in the South, everything is a phone call away. Not even a phone call. Everything is a whisper away.
Yeah, I would say too, especially for St. Pat's, like compared to a bunch of other schools in the city, that one, like it really builds character. Like you have to have a thick skin very early, and it's like not a lot of people could do it. Like people switched out, or like even if you were to go through the whole time, after you went on with life, you went to uni, college, whatever the case is, you realize how people like grew up way differently. Like they didn't have to grow up as fast as I'd say as we did, because we see a lot more early on.
But St. Pat's, man, growing up in the South, character. That's what it's all about, and it's tough now because, when I was young, there weren't as many people dying.
Yeah.
Like now, right? So a lot of kids are growing up with a lot of their friends who are dying, like when they're in grade 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So it's tough for people having to live with that reality, right? And I think it's a crazy world we live in. And people always say, when we were kids, they were like, man, these kids are crazy.
Mhm.
And then, like I'm like, I'm an old man now and I'm looking at people like, damn, these kids are crazy. But that's just how it always is, man. Like people are always gonna say the kids are crazy, but at the end of the day, like what are you doing to help these
That's what I want
kids?
to touch on.
Right? Like what are you doing to
Mm.
like it's one thing for me to sit in my car and I'm looking out, seeing a bunch of kids at a bus stop, wilding out. But that was me at 13, 14, 15, waiting for my bus at a bus stop, acting a fool with my friends,
Hmm.
play fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing dumb stuff. But then why you got to have your nose in the air now that you're an older head? You know what I mean?
But what I wanted to touch too on is like, what do you think? Like, see how you're saying like, okay, kids are crazy nowadays and stuff like that. What do you think like, what could people do to help change that? You know?
People's got to be involved. Like I mean, these kids had like 2 years during COVID. They couldn't even go to a park.
Hmm.
They couldn't even go hoop.
Which was insane to me. Like, how
Do you know what
you
I'm saying? Like,
closing off the baskets?
all I'm
Like,
saying is, it's just like they're not getting the benefit of the doubt. So
hmm,
what are they left to do? They're left to be at home, stuck in their phones, living in this internet world, and then now they have to adjust back to the real world. But it's just it's tough. It's just difficult.
yeah, you're right. Cause it's even. I'm glad you touched on that. Cause like at the end of the day, bro, like what really matters in life, like
Mm.
spending time with your family, like the little shit like that, being a good parent. It's things like that is like nowadays undervalued. Just simply being a good person, being a family man. Cause all the other shit that social media claims to be important or whatever, is just like it's not all that. It's like that all that other stuff can be gone to tomorrow. So it's just I feel like valuing the little things, showing being a good active parent. It's like a lot of these kids they don't see that. They might have single moms or whatever the case is. So it's good for them to see a role model like that.
Yeah, man, and
Honestly.
even just to be that guy for the kids in the community, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
anytime I ever interact with my young boys or I see them, like like at events, Boys and Girls Club, like remember the summer leagues,
Summer league.
right? Like I'm always usually as much as I can. It's tougher now, but as much as I can, I always make
Mm.
sure I'm really in the trenches when it comes to the events,
Mm-hmm.
and that way, whenever I interact with the different young boys when they come up, I always say, yo, here's my Instagram, follow me, like never hesitate to send me a message if you have any question about anything, need help with anything, like I'm always. I'd rather be an outlet to help if they ever need it, right? Because sometimes they just might not have that outlet.
Yeah.
When I was at St. Pat's, all you guys had my number, and there were a lot of times where I helped a lot of people get out of some situations, right,
Mm-hmm.
or help talk them through some stuff. And I think that's the important part of just being able to be that positive person, be that mentor as best as
Mm-hmm.
you can, be that big brother, be that uncle, be that resource, right? Because like you said, a lot of kids have single moms, right? So again, I believe that the communities, it's the community's role, it's a
Mm-hmm.
community's responsibility to help raise the children within it.
Mm.
It's like the African proverb: "It takes a village to raise a child,"
Yeah.
right? So I really believe in that because it's everything. Because when a child leaves the house and he's in the streets and he's acting a fool, it's just job for the old head to tell this kid, stop being an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like stop throwing rocks at cars.
You know.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just cut that out. Like it's their job to make sure that we're growing and raising kids who can properly be able to I don't know, to with reason, of course, right?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
2023, can't tell nobody nothing now, but
Which is crazy, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think to sum up that whole point, it's actually really important to have like positive black male figures, especially for like people, like our age group, younger. Like I guarantee you, we all have memories of someone older than us kind of telling us something, and it stuck with us. And it's like I feel like a lot of kids need to have that because I feel like a lot of them don't have structure at home. So when they go out, that's what I'm saying. Why they're doing all that bad stuff? They have no structure. So when they're going out here doing this because no one's telling them what's right to wrong. So I'm glad that like you're taking the time out of your day, to try and improve situations the best you can, even if it's the little things that like will go a long way. Like we had a conversation off camera, and you were saying like he told you something back in the day. It still resonates with you today.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time. I don't even know how much you realize probably the impact you've really had on a lot of kids growing up.
I appreciate that. And it's a lot of people helped me on my way up too, right? Like don't get me wrong, like because like I said, I grew up with a lot of same type of people you guys grew up with. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And it's just being able to have those positive influences that really help steer you in that right direction because it just takes a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. you're in a whole different situation, right? So it's just the help of the community, the help of everyone involved in the whole process.
Yeah, the mentorship is key. Like Phoenix, like I'm wearing a Phoenix shirt today, but I feel like a lot of what we were just talking about, like Coach Dub and the Phoenix program, like they implement that, like just the off the court, like being a good man is above all else. Being a good person, figuring out how to live right and just knowing right from wrong. Because I feel like folks don't even be knowing. Like they're just like they're okay with just seeing all the bad stuff and just following whatever their friends are doing and things like that. So it is important to have like mentors to steer you in the right direction. And even to like nowadays, like I go on my Facebook memories and every other day is something with you. It's like, 7 years ago we were at this tournament doing this, and just being around all these people who are like successful in life, you just learn a lot. Like I feel blessed to have been like have the mentors and people that I've learned from. Like I would not be where I am today if I had to figure it out on my own.
That's why I think it's very important for parents to be involved,
Mhm.
because it's always the situations where the parents just blindly trust their kid to go with whoever, right? Where things can get tricky, and that's why I'm very big on making sure parents are super involved in understanding who your kids around, what are these coaches, who are they? Because, a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? Like that's
It's crazy, yeah.
the more you get higher in sports, the more you realize that there's a whole lot of more wolves in sheep's clothing. You're about to go pro, you're about to see that firsthand. But in university, not to say your particular situation, but in university itself, right? Like it's not like when you're playing as a kid, like 0 to like 10, coaches are all about let's say 0 to like 14. Coaches are all about your development. They're all about seeing you become better as a person. Like they care. You love being around your team. Then from like 14 to like 17, like high school, it's about competing, but like, trying to figure out where you fit in on a team situation, what my game is like, improving your game. But the camaraderie is still there at the end of the day. Like your high school coaches really in Canada aren't getting paid, to coach you. It's all volunteer. They're doing out of the love of the game, doing out of the love of seeing you become better as a person, right? Then you get to university, right? And we're not talking about NCAA, you're talking about any university, like it's or it's your U sport. It's a business now, right? Like coaches' jobs are on the line, their livelihood, their family, their daughters, their sons, their wives, all that is dependent on the win and loss column, how each season progresses, who they recruit, what this recruit's going to do for them, yada yada yada. If you get brought in under one head coach and that coach leaves, and now you have to have a new coach who brings in their whole new bunch of people because that's who their ticket to help them become successful is, right? Like it's not like, okay, I'm here, I'm representing my school, I'm putting on the orange and yellow, whatever your team colors are, like I'm gonna march to the beat. I'm gonna put my 100% effort. All that doesn't matter if things and circumstances change, right? So I think it's a real big eye opener for a lot of people when they get to post secondary and they realize that, wow, these coaches maybe like they might care about me, but it's not the same kind of care about me like my high school coach cared about me, like my club team, like the way Coach Dub cares about you. You know what I mean? And cared about you as a player going in. It's not the same. And no disrespect to any coach or anything. It's just what it is, right? Like it's
reality.
It's a reality. It's not the same. You have a different relationship with your head coach like you did with Dub, or like you had a different relationship with your head coach there like than you and I had as when you were in high school, right? Than you did with Coach Slag, for example, or like when you go pro, it's going to be an even more different relationship than you had with your university coach, right? So the higher you go up, even going from like club boys and girls club basketball to going to like competing traveling teams, right? That's a different relationship. So I think it's all about realizing and learning that like the more you go up the ladder, the more you got to really learn how to protect yourself, and you got to really understand what's going on.
Nah, it's a business, bro. But and too with it though, so people like to say, yeah, it's a business, whatever. Like the coaches don't care, but at the end of the day, ultimately, they're here getting paid. This is their job. You know what I'm saying? So as cutthroat as it is, it's like you have to perform, or else like we could get someone else who's gonna perform. Like it's the game of basketball.
100%. With that being said, that's where I'm saying like you got to learn at that point that because it is a business, like you got to do your end of it, right? Like if you got Jordan on the bench, you're not gonna leave Jordan on the bench. You're not gonna leave LeBron on the bench. You're gonna put them in, right? But if you got like if you got someone that's not performing in practice, their attitude is shit, they're not doing things that are conducive to helping the team, right? You're not going to have them on the floor. If they're not making the extra pass, if they're not playing defense, if they're not running the floor, if they're not communicating on defense, if they're not doing the things as a leader that you want your point guard to do, you're not going to see the floor, right? But it's tough and different too when a new coach comes in and he's coming in, bringing in his AAU point guard that he's coached since him and that kid was in grade 9. Like if Coach Dub became Lake head coach, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different, right? Then you're gonna get people like Ish will transfer in. You know what I mean? And there's people like the Twins are gonna transfer. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different, right? Because and then whoever was in the position of where the Twins would be, whoever was in the position of where Ish should be, right? Like it's all like, oh well, damn, he's bringing in his own playbook, his own everything. If these guys already know the system, right?
That's how it is. And even like you see it, like even when JUCO coaches, like all these guys are literally just trying to get to the next step. Like they're just trying to, like ultimately, they care about themselves and getting to where they gotta go.
Yeah.
And I almost don't even blame them, bro, because it's the same for me. It's like, I'm just trying to go wherever I could go, like do what's best for me at every point, in this thing. So yeah, it's a tough business. That's why people quit ball. Like they're like, yo, I'm just tired of the politics. Like I just want to chill.
A lot of people used to get baby too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. And not to discredit mental toughness, right? But a lot of people are used to just having it where coach was like, you could take dumb shots and not play defense, and coach would be like, no, it's cool, we'll leave you on. But the second you're on a real team now, and you take a dumb shot, now you're in your head, you're not playing defense, your man just blew by you, scored a bucket, you go back on offense, make another dumb shot, and then the guy on the way back on defense, you foul him stupidly and one bucket, and now you're wondering why you're on the bench.
Yeah, no, I noticed that one a lot. Like, especially for me. So in high school, I played football and rugby, right? And then playing rugby in high school, it's way different because it's just your high school friends. It's a teacher at the school, so it's like it's not that serious, At the end of the day, but then when I went and played club rugby that summer, like I really started noticing a difference. Like I can't be coming late to practice now. Like I'm not just accountable for myself, I can't just be so selfish and be like, I know I'm gonna go out here and do what I have to do. Like other people rely on you to be there and show that you care, So I definitely noticed a switch, like when you play, like you're just playing in high school and you're playing with your boys and stuff, and you can get away with it, versus when you're playing people that are actually here to win. So it's like for sure, as levels keep going up, especially by the time you get to pro, people are playing for their families now.
But yo, I wanted to ask you, what made you get into golfing? Like you
Yeah.
do, like when did that start?
Pandemic, man, you can't do anything outside.
Yeah.
If you want to be out the house, you want to be outside, it's the only sport you can play. And prior to the pandemic, I was taking golf lessons every summer, going to the driving range. So really, it was just a point where I was like, you know what? Take the training wheels off and let me just start golfing. Try some different golf courses. And then I found Falcon Ridge Golf, which is where I go golfing all the time. Been a member there ever since. They're real nice to me, man. The thing is, it's like I did not know anything about golf. Like I was someone who, like people that pull up to the basketball court and they're just, you're like, damn. Like, you see, like
I know.
dribbling with two hands, and like
Yeah.
that was me. Just terrible. And they were cool with me always. Like they always showed love when I'd show up. Everyone was always super nice. No one was hella rude about the fact I was trash. You know what I mean? Everyone's super encouraging. So I kept going back. And just the thing about golf, it's you versus you. So all three of us could golf at the same time. Like we go play together. But like, yeah, it's like, I'd like to get a better score than you guys. But really, it's all about, like, if we're playing at, like, let's say my home course, right? I know that I can play a certain amount. Like I can hit, like, for example, like let's say I average 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, right? Like I know going into a home game against anybody, I'm going to get 20 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, 3 steals, no matter what. No matter what. It's just happening, right? So when I go play golf, it's like, it's just about, am I able to maintain that 25-2 every single time I'm out, right? And if I do better, if I score 25, get 6 rebounds, get 5 assists, and it's like, You know, like
Yeah.
I did better than myself last time. Even though we're all golfing together, it's really about how you are versus, you know. So it's different. It's very different. It's very different.
And in there, like, I want to ask you, like, so when you first started announcing all these things, did you ever think that you would get to this point? Like, now you're the weatherman. Like, bro, I'm talking about, we got the weatherman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's actually, like, a very good accomplishment. And it's like, did you ever imagine yourself doing that?
No, never. Honestly, like I never imagined being able to do an NBA All Star. I never
You
imagined
know what
doing
I'm
a Pan
saying?
American Games. I never imagined announcing Jamal Murray's final high school season. I never imagined, you know,
Everyone,
any of
you're the
that.
voice. Like, literally, the voice is in the cut right now, you know? So, like, all those accomplishments and stuff, which ones or which memories stand out the most to you, like, throughout your announcing career, if there's any in particular?
I mean, announcing Jamal Murray's high school games, that was dope.
Mm-hmm.
His senior year, that was crazy. Just because that Orangeville prep team was just OP. Like
Yeah.
they were
Thon Maker was there
Thon
too.
Maker, Mature Maker. Like that team was just stacked. Um, and then another thing which was really great was announcing OFSA for the first time in Toronto. OFSA championships, Quad A, the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. Um, and then because it was just like Father Henry Carr was there, Dylan Brooks was
Mm-hmm.
playing.
Okay, so that was a little minute ago.
Like the thing is for me, he's from Father Henry Carr.
Mm-hmm.
The possibilities for people to come from Father Henry Carr, trajectory wise, right? Like
To the Houston Rockets.
Yeah. From that aspect, I see what
to
you're
the
saying.
league.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's major.
Yeah.
He's repping Team Canada right now. They just beat Spain, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
like 85-80. Like like he's doing stuff that a lot of people aren't doing. He's representing our country right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like say what you want, but people are talking around the world about a Canadian basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like so for me, I think, he's a dog. Dylan Brooks is a dog. That's all I'll say. And for me, it's like I really think that people talk a lot of smack, and it's easy to talk smack from your couch. But again, like you and I were talking about the work being put in.
Mm-hmm.
Try to live a day in the life of his workouts.
Yeah.
Try to live a week in the life of his off-season regimen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. What they do, it's because it's easy.
He was a part of Memphis's team that made it that had such a good. They had a good season without Ja, right? Like he was a major part of that.
Yeah, but they got waxed by the Lakers. But yeah,
It's
going to go on them.
It's because all we see is the output, right? We don't see nothing that he's doing off the court. All we see is just
all we see is the storyline.
Exactly. So all we see is how he acts, and then what he does on the court, and then that's all the narrative we go off of. But obviously, like you're saying, we don't see.
But who's micromanaging our behavior and how we act?
Yeah.
Who's watching us on that microscope? Nobody.
Yeah, that's true.
This is literally like I'm gonna say the total time of everything with his talking and everything. Maybe like if you put it on a clock, 8 minutes, 5 minutes worth of actual conversation that he contributed, whether it was talking smack on the sideline or his quotes in the media. Maybe 5 minutes we're talking about out of the body of his life and the work he's put in. So I mean, like at the end of the day, like again, social media is a toxic place.
Yeah.
It's a toxic world to live in. I'll go right back to that. People rather focus on the negative. People don't want to focus on the fact that we had a Canadian right here who played OFSA basketball, competing against the world's greatest LeBron James and the LA Lakers, who's playing alongside one of the best up-and-coming players, John Morant. Desmond Bain, Jared Jackson Jr. Like he's in the mix, right? He went to Oregon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? We're talking about people talking smack that can't even make their GCBA team. Like, come on, stop playing with me. Like,
yeah, no, that's true. That is true. But also then to speak on that, then I don't get why they get so mad. Like, bro, you're a millionaire. I'm at the highest level, and then they get mad when like random bums are out here commenting on my IG posts, and it's like, bro, these opinions are so irrelevant.
Because again, it's the world we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Social media, it's a toxic place. People feel like they gotta, and that's what I said. I feel for the kids. We're talking about a grown man who's making millions, acting like, what I mean, not to talk about Dylan Brooks, just grown athletes in general that make millions who talk about social media and that. And how do you expect these kids to respond?
I want to say before we finish off, like the weatherman thing, like how did you get into that?
Literally, I got called in for an audition.
Yeah.
Try out for the role. I just finished playing golf. I was with Ottawa Hoops, Dion. Kevin and I just finished playing around at Falcon Ridge, and then something's going on with my car. He picked me up, so he was driving me home, and I got a call. And then I asked to call for the audition, and we were both so hype about it. I remember that. It was super cool. Just the time I had a pretty good round, then that call happened. I was feeling pretty nice.
It was nice.
Yeah, and then I just auditioned for it, and then I got the role, and then basically it was a 3-week contract. Is how it started, because eventually the job has to get posted. Because I replaced Ian Black, who was doing it for like 35 plus years. He's a goat. So I was basically been doing that for the last year and a bit since he's been there. So it just recently got posted because of looking at kind of bringing like a weather and climatologist.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so it was a good run though, man. Like 3 weeks was the original contract. Been there over a year. So, and it's really great just being able to be there, because being able to contribute to the news cycle is really great. Being able to have stories told from our community, our basketball community as well too. Mm-hmm. Being able to include those stories was really great, because I feel like that's one thing that's really been missing from the whole entire kind of news world, especially it's just bigging up Ottawa hoops and Ottawa basketball players, Ottawa athletes. So yeah, I really love how they give me tons of opportunities, to do different things, hosting, backfilling different roles. So man, it's the best place I've ever been in my life. Being the CBC, I can definitely tell you that. Like, it's super grateful for the opportunity. So
no, that's good for you. I'm happy for you, bro. Like, anytime I see you post on your story, like breaking down the weather, I'm just like, bro, like you just came so far, like you announcing high school, doing all these things, and then it's like this guy's on TV, really just talking. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's good to see, And just before it cuts, I just wanted to thank you for coming out again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate you guys
having me. To Ottawa in this cut right now. So
yeah, you were a really good guest. You said a lot of valuable information. I hope people take in and actually appreciate. So yeah, thanks for popping out today.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah.